Cromwell. Crumb. There was a man. Ambitious beyond anyone's wildest dreams. I think if you are born as lowly as he was, his father was a blacksmith in Putney, to rise to become the chief minister of the crown, the Lord Chancellor, it's an extraordinary rise to power. I even ennobled the man, a second tier of noble rank he was at the end. People forget that Cromwell's slippery and silvery tongue was matched by this steely will to succeed. And when Cromwell was in your camp, you knew you had a man you could trust, and a man you could trust to watch your back. People were terrified of him, absolutely terrified. I mean, when he was a Burgess in the House of Commons, people regarded him with absolute suspicion. They thought that this man was out to improve himself. Well, self-improvement was there, but he just wanted to work for greater men, to make them even greater than they were. When he worked for Wolsey, tireless. And you know what I admired about him? When Wolsey was brought down at the end, Cromwell was one of the few people who didn't jump on the wagon to criticise Wolsey, to call the cardinal up in hose. He backed him, he supported him. He said he was a great man who had fallen from a great height. One of the finest attributes any man can display is loyalty. Now, we don't know whether his stories of being a mercenary in France and Italy and killing men with his bare hands were true or fabrication, but people believed them and they didn't want to put him to the test. I'll give you that. Could he be too loyal? You see, he had helped Wolsey in the original dissolution of some of the monasteries. When he took charge of that operation, he took it virtually out of my hands and would just present me with lists and say, this one can go, this one can go. And the money, of course, should all have come to the crown. But people in the Reformation wanted money to go back into the church in some way. And he appeased them as well. Very clever man. Personal life, he was well married to his wife Elizabeth. I forget her surname. Oh yes, Wicks. He was married to Elizabeth Wicks, and of course, in one bout of sweating sickness, he lost her and two of his daughters. Imagine. I mean, I had lost my mother and father and my brother and my grandmother. But to lose these people to illness within weeks of each other, you can't imagine how that man must have suffered. And yet it barely showed on his face as a flicker of emotion. I was prepared to back Crumb. I knew I had backed the right horse with him. I knew he would be loyal to me. So that's perhaps why towards the end of his reign, if we should call it that, I did ennoble him, and he became, of course, an Earl of Essex. Extraordinary position for a man, hated by the nobility. My God, Norfolk wanted him dead. And they eventually got their way. When a high-ranking official loses his position, particularly in my reign, they're normally taken from their homes quietly of an evening, or certainly not while they're working. Crumb was actually in a Privy Council meeting when Norfolk and the others burst in to take him. And he protested his innocence. I am the king's man, I am the king's man. And they dragged him kicking and screaming from that chamber. Executed, of course, at the Tower. Did I regret it? I've said it before, you're not allowed to regret as a monarch things you have done, but of course I did, because he was such a clever man. And when a power like that is taken from you, momentarily at least, you feel weaker than you were. Would the Cromwells achieve greatness? Who knows? Perhaps one day one of his progeny will rule the country.